Today I'm going to be talking about 3 things to start decluttering your home as I declutter a piece of my basement. And the first thing might actually surprise you a little bit, so let's get to it. Hello and welcome to Organized and Inspired. My name is Maya. I talk about all things decluttering and organizing, as well as mindset and mental well-being. I first want to say thank you so much for joining me. This is my first episode and I'm so excited. Now, like I mentioned before, I am decluttering a piece of my basement. So my basement's starting to look a little bit like the room of requirement from Harry Potter, the place where everything is hidden. And it's like that because I have stuff from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And whenever I have something in my living space where I don't really have a spot for it, I'm like, let me grab this thing. Oh, you know what? A magical door to the basement. Let me just bring it down there. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna set it on top of something. And then I just go back upstairs and I forget about it. And then I do that all over again with multiple things, and it just stacks and stacks and stacks. And now I've got a lot of stuff. To get going, we're gonna start with the first thing, which is getting your mind right. Now, before you fast forward and you're like, what are you talking about? Does this sound like you? Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff. I don't even know where to begin. There's literally stuff from the floor to the ceiling. There's stuff in the middle of the room. I don't know where to start. I can't do this. I'm done. Does that sound like you? If you tell yourself you can't, you've already set yourself up for failure. I'm sure you've heard that in other aspects of your life because it applies to literally everything. But when you say you can't, it's essentially like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say you can't, so then you don't. So I'm here to tell you, you can. I'm not saying to disregard your feelings about what is happening in your space, because you can acknowledge the fact that everything around you is making you feel overwhelmed, or when you look at your space, you say, you know, this makes me feel really anxious, but I can do this. I got this, right? Because you can do it. When you say I can't, it's full of negative energy. It gives you a sense of limitation, of shutting down progress, versus when you say you can, it's full of positive energy. It projects optimism. It's empowering. It sets you up to be motivated so that you start doing what you want to do. So like for me, I have a chronic illness, and there were so many times where I would say, I can't because of my autoimmune disease. I can't do this. I can't do that. When I started saying that I could and I can, my life changed, right? So I started being more healthy and I started doing more stuff for myself. But when I said I couldn't, I didn't do anything. Same thing applies for when you want to start decluttering your home. You just have to say you can, which, to make things a little bit easier, goes into number 2. So to start decluttering, we're gonna break things down to smaller pieces. For me, I decided that with the entire basement, I'm going to start with just the shelving unit. Because if I were to go down here and look at everything that I own, it is so overwhelming. So we have to break it down into smaller pieces. So if you look behind me, I have my shelving unit. If you're like, you know what, that's still too much. I don't know that I have the energy for that. That's okay. We break it down even smaller. You could do just one shelf. Maybe that's still too much. That's okay. Maybe you just start with a basket. If all you have energy for is one basket, that's okay. Just start with one basket. You're doing something. You're doing one thing. That's all you need to do to get started, is something small. If you're cleaning the kitchen, just start with maybe the kitchen table. Or if you're in your bedroom, just start with the nightstand. Not even the inside of the nightstand, just start with the top of the nightstand. I do that a lot when I need to reorganize my room a little bit. So start small. When we break things down to smaller pieces, this is called micro productivity. This helps you to increase your focus and your concentration to the task at hand. Not only that, it helps to reduce feeling overwhelmed, and it helps to increase your sense of accomplishment once you've finished that smaller task. Right, there's no better feeling for me than when I create a list and I'm able to check something off that list. That dopamine rush is so good. It's so good. I love making lists. Right, so when you break a bigger piece down, which would be my basement, to like the shelving unit, the middle area, the back wall, whatever, however I decide to break it down to smaller chunks. I can then check off each of those little things and I feel so good. As humans, we really like to see progress immediately, which doesn't always work when you have such a big task at hand. So when you break it down to smaller pieces, that gives us that like almost instant gratification. It's not instant, right? We still got to put in the work, but like it helps to make us feel like we're progressing more immediately. It makes us feel a little happier, a little bit more accomplished. So helps to break things down. All right, number 3 to get started is to create the work zone. I love the work zone. Why? Because it is like this area that's just like a little bit of breathing room before you start getting to all the clutter and organization. So the work zone consists of 4 things. The first thing is your actual working space. This is where you're going to pull stuff off the shelf onto a table in my case, or if you are working, say, in the bedroom, the bed is a great working space. If you clear it off, make your bed, and you're trying to organize your closet, you put everything in your closet onto your bed, and that becomes your work space. That way you're able to see everything you have, and then you now have a blank canvas inside your closet, or for me, it's my shelf, that you can start to put things back. The second thing is a trash can. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's just so, you know, if there's extra, whatever, papers, plastic, things that you don't need, those can go in the trash. The third thing is a donation box. In my case, I have 2 small ones because I couldn't find a bigger box at the moment. So I put 2 donation boxes out so that as I'm pulling things off the shelf, I can put them directly into the box as I am looking at each object and evaluating whether, you know, do I like this? Do I need this? Do I use this? All of that. If I want to keep it, it goes on to my workspace. If I don't want it, it goes into the box. The fourth thing is an egress box. That's just what I call it. I don't know, I like that name. You can call it whatever you want to, but it's just the box that lives near your entryway of the area that you're working. Why? Because, is this you?
Oh, look, I think I want to keep this, but this belongs in the kitchen, so I should probably bring it upstairs. It's been down there for a while, so I need to wash it. I'm going to go do that now. But wait, I should probably wash the other dishes that are around. And wait, I was waiting for this tax document. Maybe I should go look for that. The mail's here. Oh, here it is. I'm going to go file this. And then this cycle just keeps on going and I never get back to the basement.
So the egress box is the box of things that are leaving this space, right? So if I have things that I find that I want to put in the kitchen or I want to put in the garage, I don't want to stop what I'm doing to go to those places and put it away. I want to do that all at once. So I put it in my egress box. That lives at the entryway of the area that I'm working. So for me in the basement, it lives at the bottom of the stairs because then when I'm all done, I'll take it up and I will disperse everything where it needs to go. I don't want to stop what I'm doing to then put away everything in the kitchen and then in the garage because I will get distracted. So I put everything in that box. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I decided to set up my shelving the way I did. As you can see in the video, I changed my mind quite a few times because I wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to put everything, but this is what I settled on and why. So the top 2 shelves are kitchen type items. I have some empty bins that we use in our kitchen sometimes, and then I also have boxed items. The reason that I decided to move this from the bottom shelf to the top shelf is that if I find more boxed kitchen supplies, as I'm cleaning my basement, I can continue to stack it higher if I need to, because I have space from the top of the shelf to the ceiling. The second shelf here is the bakeware. My mom loves to bake and my parents live with us. We're kind of home base for my parents because they love to travel. But right now they're gone, so I can't ask my mom if she wants to get rid of any of this stuff, but I won't throw it away. I'm not going to do that to her. But, you know, when she's here, like I said, she loves to bake, so she has all of her baking things here. On the third shelf, I have all of our home supplies. So we have light bulbs, which I didn't even realize we had this many light bulbs until I started cleaning all of this. Like, I feel like we just kept buying them because we didn't realize we already had them, right? And that's part of the decluttering and organizing process is you find things that you already had. And you know, you discover that you keep buying more stuff because you never organized or decluttered your areas. But here we are. We have batteries, and then inside this bin, I decided to put our old light bulbs and old batteries because I like to bring those to like Home Depot or Lowe's, somewhere that recycles light bulbs and batteries so that, we're not harming the environment. And then we have a lot of tape for some reason, but we also go through a lot of tape. We send a lot of packages and things. So I anticipate that this is going to be an office supply area as I continue to clean the basement. So I decided to put all of our cleaning supplies down at the bottom. If you have children or pets, I absolutely do not recommend putting them on the bottom shelf and would actually change it to the top shelf. But for our family, we have 4 adults living in the house, so I felt like this was safe for us. We do have a dog, but he's never in our basement without our supervision, so I feel pretty good about keeping them here. If there's a spill, it's already on the bottom, so I don't have to worry about that. And the steam cleaner is easy to get to. It's kind of bulky, so I liked that I moved it from higher up to the bottom shelf. The other thing is there's a lot of breathing room here so that as I start to clean the basement and I find more things, I can shift things around and move them over. Now, maybe in the future I will move those up, but we'll see. For now, this works. And yeah, we'll see what happens as I continue on more cleaning journeys down here.
To recap, we're going to make sure that we're in the right headspace. We're going to break up our large projects into smaller pieces, and we're going to make a work zone so that we have a blank canvas to work with.
I'm really happy with how the shelves turned out. Now, as I continue cleaning through the next couple of weeks, I'm sure this will change a little bit. But the nice thing is, because I've done work to declutter and organize this space, it'll be a lot easier for me to rearrange as I need to. Next time, we're gonna tackle the pantry backstock, which is actually not that bad, but it could definitely use some improvement. So if you wanna see that, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.